Hello everybody, today back in another video. Alright, my test on the world. Today's video is going to be about a correction, a video that I just, one of my subscribers or viewers, I don't know if he subscribed to the channel or not, that reminded me about a video I did 1 year ago when I did my top 5 reasons why Djokovic has been so weak in this 24 season, which was last year. And I remember that video, my top 5 reasons to that was, on the 5th place was Novak's heaviness. That is my number 5th reason why Djokovic has been so weak this 2024 season. His heaviness is not hitting the ball as heavy, as hard as he did in the 2023 season, where he did a fabulous 2023 season when he won 7 titles, and 6 of them were big titles, 3 Grand Slams and 2 Master 1000 titles, and 1 ATP2 Finals title. The only small title he won in that 2023 season, Novak Djokovic, was a 250 class tournament in Adelaide. All right, so in my number 5th place, when I did that video last year, was Novak's heaviness is not as heavy this year as it was in 2023. So that was on the 5th place. On the 4th place was his serve. He's not serving as good this 2024 season. I mean the 2024 season last year, but I'm talking about that video I did last year. He's not serving as good as he did in the 2023 season. That's why he's so weak in this 2024 season, because the serve is letting him down. At least the serve is not as good as it was in 2023, and he's doing a lot of double faults. He's losing matches with double faults when he has match points against him. For example, I remember the match against Casper Ruud in last year's Monte Carlo semi-final. Novak lost the match with a double fault. He was going big in his second serve. So that was on number 4th place. He's not serving as good. On the 3rd place, I remember, he's not hitting his forehand as good as he did in 2023. So that was number 3rd place. On the 2nd place was the age. He's not hitting, the age. He's not super young anymore. He was 37 years old last year. On the beginning of the year, he was of course 36. And then, of course, later that year, he became 37 years old, because we all know that Novak's birthday is in May. So that was on the 2nd place, the age. Nobody, Father Time doesn't show any mercy. And my number 1 spot was lack of motivation. I actually forgot that I did this video, because I've done so many videos during the years that I thank the subscriber that reminded me about this. And I want to give my share opinions and my thoughts about that video. All right? You know, guys, I don't have a big pride. I am a person that if I am wrong somewhere, I'm the first one to admit it myself. Nobody needs to point it out to me. To have as number 1 reason the lack of motivation that Djokovic was so weak in 2024 is completely wrong. It is just absolutely wrong. And I actually rewatched that video a couple of hours ago. Not the entire video, but some parts of it. I was referring and was meaning mostly Novak didn't look super motivated in the tournaments outside of the majors. All right? But when it comes to the majors, he's still as motivated as ever. I can't believe how in hell I could put that number 1 reason as lack of motivation, that Djokovic was so weak in that 2024 season. Yeah, in other tournaments outside the Grand Slams, he was not deadly motivated. Yeah, I can agree with that, with myself in that video and some other people who have that opinion. But when it comes to the majors, he is deadly motivated, my tennis fans all around the world. And even in the tournament that he plays, he is motivated. He has said it himself. If I arrive at a specific tournament I want to win them. He doesn't want to lose. If you lose, you go down in confidence. Winning matches gets you confident higher. This is common sense, not only in tennis, it's in all sports. What happened with Novak before the French Open? He won the Geneva Open title. Why was he there? Many people think he was there only for the relative. He has some cousin there in Geneva, in Switzerland. It was not the main reason why he was there. That is bullshit. For God's sake, the guy is a milliardaire. He can fly over there whenever he wants. If he wants to see the family. He was there to win his freaking 100th title. He knew that he has not won a tournament almost 1 year. Last time he won that tournament prior to that Geneva Open title was when he won that Olympic gold medal. So he knew that this is a good chance. And let's go for it. That was his definite biggest reason. He smelled that it was a chance for him to win his 100th title. He couldn't do that in 2024 season. He wasn't at Shanghai final. He was stopped by Yannick Sinner. He couldn't do that in Miami Open earlier this year. He was stopped by a big player, Mensik, who defeated him in straight sets. 7-6, 7-6, if I'm not mistaken. So, he thought he did a poor clay court season when he didn't win one single match, lost the first round in Monte Carlo, or lost the first round in Madrid. So he thought to himself, let's go to Geneva. He played the Geneva Open last year as well, because he didn't have a great clay court season last year as well. So I don't want to hear anything. I don't want to hear nobody. I'm serious. I don't want to hear no one saying Djokovic was in Geneva to visit family. That was his biggest reason. Stop with this kind of nonsense. Yeah, that was one of the reasons for sure. Yeah, why not? When I'm here, let's visit family. Let's visit cousins. But that was not his biggest reason. His biggest reason was because he wanted to win the Geneva Open title. Because he wanted to win that 100th title. He knows. He knows. Of course he knows. He's not stupid. That him to win French Open, he needs a miracle. He knows exactly like he needed a miracle to win the Australian Open earlier this year. For God's sakes, look, Grand Slams are like this. In the first week, it is a 250 class draw. In the second week, it is a World Cup of a draw. Especially when you fall out from the top 4 world ranking. Because when you fall out from the top 4 world ranking, you will have more difficult draws. You will draw higher ranking players earlier in the rounds. Djokovic now needs to go through Zverev in the quarterfinals, because I believe Zverev will, if I should do a redraw prediction, I didn't believe in Zverev in the beginning of the tournament when I did my top 8 favorite list 10 days ago, because I thought that he would lose against Cerundolo. But now when Zverev is in the 4th round against Griekspoor, now that Zverev has started that engine, now when Zverev's cylinders are on fire, yeah, Griekspoor plays him tough. Griekspoor was double break up in last year's French Open 3rd round against Alexander Sasha Zverev. But of course, if Griekspoor defeats Zverev, I will not be shocked. Absolutely not. But I would be a little surprised, because at this point, Zverev has now started his engine. So I believe Zverev will make it to a quarterfinal. And Djokovic will, of course, defeat Cam Norrie. Even though Cam Norrie has got some reborn status in him and has played some really good tennis. He went deep in Geneva, lost to Djokovic there in 3 sets in semifinals, and now he's played deep here in French Open, where he also defeated Dan Medvedev in 5 sets in the first round. But that doesn't mean that Cam Norrie will not go on and defeat Novak Djokovic in the fourth round. I don't think so anyway. So, the first week for Novak Djokovic is a 250 class draw. The second week is a World Cup class of a draw. So, for Djokovic to win the French Open, he needs to go through Zverev, which is absolutely possible. And I'm giving Djokovic a slight edge there. I even said that in my preview 10 days ago, that I believe Djokovic will go to the semi-final at this year's French Open. But then the hell starts for Novak. He needs to defeat Sinner in the semi-finals, and he needs to defeat Alcaraz in the finals, most likely if Alcaraz makes it to that final, which I believe he will do, even though Alcaraz doesn't look ruthless against other players like Sinner does against other players. So, Djokovic can definitely defeat Zverev, and I'm even predicting that he will do that. I give Djokovic my slightest edge against Zverev. But then against Sinner, whom he has not defeated in almost 2 years. Last time Djokovic defeated Sinner was back in 2023 ATP Tour Finals in Turin. In that final where Djokovic almost gave Sinner a beatdown, if it not was even a beatdown, when Djokovic defeated Alcaraz and Sinner back to back in that tournament. Alcaraz in semifinals, Sinner in the finals. But that was a different Novak Djokovic, and that was a different surface, where Novak was rewarded with his serve. Here on clay, Novak Djokovic doesn't get the same kind of reward in his serve. Novak needs to take out Sinner from a baseline. Novak is not capable of taking out Sinner from a baseline. And then Novak needs to hit through Sinner. Novak doesn't hit the ball as big as Sinner. Sinner is a maybe big matchup problem for Novak. And to be quite fair, Sinner is not only a big matchup problem for only Djokovic, he's a big matchup problem for everybody on the tour besides Alcaraz. Sinner is taking good care of the tour. Sinner is taking good care of everybody on the tour besides Alcaraz. So, to say that Djokovic, number one reason why he had a weak 2024 season was lack of motivation was completely wrong. For God's sakes, how can a player of Novak's magnitude have lack of motivation? The guy is super careful what he puts in his body. The guy is super careful to not take the jab. The guy is super careful to not eat meat. The guy is super careful to not drink alcohol. The guy is super careful in every single part of his life what he does. He's a vegan. He doesn't put in his body everything. He's not as careful in eating like he's as super careful in eating. He's much more careful than the case was with Federer and Nadal. He's a unbelievable careful guy. But this can be misunderstood, because when we see Djokovic, like the example saw at the Open last year against Yannick Sinner, he was 2 sets to love down, and then he won that third set, even though he actually had a match point in that third set. He almost lost against Sinner in straight sets. He was not pushing himself. He was not screaming. I have noticed with Novak, when Novak feels that he is not hanging in with his opponent, he doesn't scream, he doesn't give fist pumps, because he feels that I'm not close to this guy's level. I will not win this match. Novak screams, Novak yells, Novak fist pumps when he feels that his level is close to his opponent. The same thing was against Alcaraz in that Wimbledon final last year, 2024. Novak never screamed. Even when he broke back Alcaraz's serve in that third set, when Alcaraz was serving for the title in that third set, when he broke back and leveled that third set to 5-all, if I'm not mistaken, and then went to a tie break, Novak never screamed. Novak never fist pumped. Why? He knew that he would lose the match. He knew that he was not close to Alcaraz's level. He could see, he could feel that Alcaraz was in a beast mode level. For God's sake, it is him who is facing those guys, not you and me. So that can be misunderstood. People can think that, oh, now Novak doesn't look motivated. That is wrong. That is wrong. That is not the reason why he's not screaming when we see him on court. The reason is because he feels that he's not close to win that specific match on that specific day. So having Novak, number one reason as lack of motivation, like I had last year, why he was so weak in that 2024 season, is completely wrong statement. And I'm the first one to admit that. The other reasons are pretty correct. Age was my second reason. Third was the forehand. Fourth was the serve, and fifth was the heaviness. So those four reasons are pretty accurate. Age second, third forehand, fourth serve, and fifth heaviness. Number one reason should have been in that video why Novak was so weak in that 2024 season, should have been Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz. Should have been. If not that, for sure should have been the age. Because the reason why Novak has went down in his level compared to the 2023 season is Jannik Sinner and Alcaraz. Those are the biggest reason. Why can't people understand this? Novak was not super young in the 2023 season. He was 35 years old in the beginning of that year, and then later that year he was 36. He was 36 freaking old years, and he won 7 big titles that year. But Jannik Sinner was not the beast in that 2023 season. He became that beast later on. He became that beast in the 2024 season and forward. So people are forgetting this. Djokovic just did one of his best tennis seasons of his career in that 2023 season, and won 7 titles, and 6 of them were big titles. And just a couple of 1 month or 2 months later, after that, he won that ATP Tour Finals in Turin for the 7th time in his career, for a record 7th time, and surpassed Roger Federer, who had 6. He lost against Jannik Sinner in that Australian Open semi-final. And then, if that was not enough, then later that year, he loses against Carlos Alcaraz in the Wimbledon final. I know that some delusional Djokovic fans say that Djokovic was hurt, Djokovic was played with one and a half leg. Djokovic was not hurt when he defeated Musetti in the semi-final. He was not hurt at all. He defeated him in straight sets. A player is hurt, a player who plays with one and a half leg, he doesn't defeat a player like Musetti in the semi-final. I just am sick and tired of these all kind of excuses. Djokovic was hurt, Djokovic was not hurt. He was not in the shape of his life. Yeah, that I can agree. But he was not hurt. He would not have played that Wimbledon final against Alcaraz if he would have been hurt. Many Djokovic fans, not all of them, comes up with many excuses like Nadal fans. According to some Nadal fans, Nadal has never lost a tennis match while being healthy. Every time Nadal has lost, he has lost because he has been injured. You hear how stupid that sounds? I'm not right all the time. I'm not wrong all the time either. I'm here to give my honest, truthful opinions. Novak Djokovic and Rafael Nadal can lose tennis matches and have lost tennis matches against better opponents many times. They have not lost tennis matches only because they have been injured that specific day or that specific week or that specific tournament. Can we stop with this kind of nonsense? So Novak's biggest reason why he was that weak in that 2024 season was because of Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz. He lost against Jannik Sinner in the Shanghai final. Was Novak not motivated to win that Shanghai final? Was he not motivated? Especially, it was not lack of motivation in the big tournaments. It was not. When Novak is not motivated, he doesn't go and play the events. Like he didn't play the Miami Open last year. Or like he didn't play the Rome this year. He didn't want to play Rome because he said that I didn't want to play both Madrid and Rome this year. I wanted to skip one of them. And I've not played Madrid for a couple of years. I chose to play Madrid this year and skip Rome. It is not about motivation, for God's sakes. When Novak won his 100th title, Federer was congratulating him on social media, and he said, "Welcome to the 100th club." And Novak's response was, "Next up is 103. He didn't even say thank you. Do you think a guy like this, a guy that is not motivated, answers in this kind of a manner? And even he's even saying, "I'm not even planning to retire anytime soon." That was his words after he won his third round match at French Open a couple of days ago. His word was after the match on the court when he was speaking French, "I'm not planning to retire." A player who is not motivated, he plans to retire anytime soon. He has not any plans to retire anytime soon. Some of you think he will retire in the end of this season. No, he will not. He will. I think Novak will play tennis until he's 39 or 40 years old. That is my feeling. If he's healthy. If he gets injured, that is another topic. All right, guys, because this video becomes too long. That video last year when I did that, Novak's number one reason why he had that week of the season 2024 is lack of motivation was completely wrong. If I should do a video about that, I would say Novak top 5 round reasons why Novak has been this week, this 18 months is on the 5th place. He's not hitting the ball as heavy, as clean as he did 1.5 years, 2 years ago. His serve is not quite as good as at least was 1.5, 2 years ago. Number 4th place to the serve. I should say on 3rd place, he is not as good at the net. And has not been as good as at net the 1.5 years, the last 15 to 18 months, like he was in that 2023 season. He was superb at the net in that 2023 season. Many people forget that. That maybe is number 3rd place in the net game. 2nd place is age. Age will always be a factor. First place is Alcaraz and Sinner. These two are his biggest reason why he's not as successful as he was in the 2023 season and prior to that. These two are the real deal. Cannot people just understand this? Cannot people just understand this, for God's sakes? Alright, guys, I hope you did the video. If you did, go on, subscribe, see you next time. Peace.